Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, if you've ever received a property tax notice that you think is unfair, you're going to want to watch this next episode. We'll be talking to a leading expert next.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, I don't know about you, but I get my property tax assessment each year, and I just assume it's right, and so we go ahead and pay it. But there's a lot of people who fight it, and they win. To talk about that today, Nick Olenec. He is a property tax expert, and he is with Texas Tax Protest. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me, Jeff. Appreciate
Absolutely. Well, I want to hear your journey. So when did you start the company?
10 plus years ago. I started my career as a CPA in Big Four public accounting in a niche specialty tax group, and kind of stumbled into the property tax appeal process when I started buying rental properties to build my own portfolio.
And so do you remember the first time you fought?
Yeah, I do. 10 plus years ago, I got my notice in the mail. The rental property was partially renovated. I didn't even have a tenant in the property at the time. And I thought, gosh, this seems high. There's got to be an opportunity to do something about this.
Okay, we're going to pull up your website because you have a beautiful website and you have a great track record for helping people. You were telling me before the show started that about 2 out of 3 times you guys actually win.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, our win rate, we like in a given year to be between 65 and 75% success rate on our appeals. There's many valuation techniques that allow you to have an opportunity to fight the proposed valuation you receive in the mail.
And you probably have built a reputation at this point that if you're on the case, the appraisal review board says, okay, well, Nick is an honest guy. Nick has never done us wrong. I mean, is there a respect that comes along with doing it as long as you have?
Yeah, there is, Jeff. And, I would say overall, when you're working through thousands of cases a year, the data you're using to prepare your case, that data is also available to the appraisal district a lot of the time.
Sure.
So we're comparing notes, we're comparing numbers. It's just we're pushing for a lower valuation and they're pushing for a higher valuation.
Well, as I was preparing for the show, I found a video that your team made a couple years ago. Let's go ahead and roll that.
Hi, I'm Mark with Texas Tax Protest. As Texans, we have benefited from a strong state economy with a robust job market and a rise in property values. But with that means a rise in property taxes. At Texas Tax Protest, we are here to help. We represent thousands of Texas homeowners and real estate investors to ensure their property taxes are fairly assessed. And that includes all kinds of real estate. Whether you own your own home in Dallas, rental properties in Austin, an office building in Houston, a ranch in the country, or anything in between, Texas Tax Protest is here to help. Sure, you could protest your own property taxes, but why would you? Instead of wasting hours filling out forms, researching property values, and sitting in a county tax office, let us do the heavy lifting for you. Our proprietary software analyzes millions of data records to prepare the strongest case and negotiate a fair value for you. Plus, you can speak to a fellow Texan anytime you call. Getting started with Texas Tax Protest couldn't be easier. You simply enroll in our program one time and we represent you each tax year. If you decide to sell your home or cancel service, opting out is easy. And the best part, our fee is based on the savings we achieve for you. If there are no savings, there is no fee. Join the thousands of Texans who are already saving money with our service. Give us a call to learn more or enroll for the upcoming tax year.
So, Nick, let's talk about how the appraisal district works. It's not like they're coming by with a drone looking at everybody's home. So they make assumptions based on neighborhoods. Is that right?
That's exactly right. What the appraisal district's looking to do is evaluate trends in your neighborhood within certain geographic boundaries, right? And they're looking at sales information, they're looking at new construction, they're looking at partially remodeled properties, and then they're taking a valuation approach based on all those metrics, and they have a mass appraisal technique where they paintbrush valuation consideration on, or as a growth rate onto each of those properties, right? And there's no way they can go to 300, 400, 500,000 properties
Right.
and know precisely how that property looks inside and out.
Yes. We've got some video from our library of Dallas's skyline, and you guys work with both residential and commercial property. So like if somebody had a warehouse or something like that.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, we're helping single-family property owners. They own one property, they live in the house, they live in a number of years. They're feeling the squeeze of increasing property taxes. We help them reduce that tax burden. Same with business owners. Somebody that owns an apartment building or a warehouse, they're looking at property tax as one of the largest line items on their expense statement, and we want to help them keep that valuation low.
Tell us how your fees work, because everybody likes to hear how that, I mean, is it an
Sure.
upfront fee, or do you get paid if you win, or how does that work?
Sure. I mean, generally, we're a contingency fee-based company. We want it to be a win-win for our clients. We do have situations every year where we offer specials or discounts or a 2-year promotion, for example. But generally, we want to produce results for you.
Yes.
And then, we send out a results letter with that information.
And talk about, I know integrity is a big part of who you are and what has made you so successful. If somebody comes to you, will you tell them, hey, look, I don't think we can win this one?
It's hard to say, because when you think about how the tax law is structured, there's no risk of your valuation going up at a hearing.
Okay.
And because of that, we want to have the opportunity to look at all the evidence available that the county has and that we could potentially put together before we provide that information to you, right? Before we tell you we can't help you. Because a lot of times once you look at the information, it's going to give you directionally, yeah, we think we got something here, or no, we can't do it. So it's very hard on the surface just to make that evaluation. There's always a case that falls into that bucket,
Sure.
But generally we like to look at all the information and prepare ourselves to try to deliver a good value for our clients.
Okay, dumb question. Can you claw money back? So let's suppose somebody had been overpaying property taxes for a decade, and you could prove it. Can you get money back from previous errors, or is it once you paid it, it's done?
Generally, it's pretty much done. There's a couple opportunities. There are very nuances in the Texas property tax code that would allow you the opportunity to do that. It's just generally, I would say there's a couple areas that homeowners can really benefit from that. One is if they live in the home, and we've had lots of people moving to Texas the last few years. If they live in the home, they qualify for a homestead exemption. And homestead exemption, if you apply this year, but you lived in the home for the past few years, you're eligible for that exemption for prior years.
Oh, wonderful.
So those folks have the opportunity to go ahead and apply for that exemption, claw back an overpayment for 1, 2, 3 years. Right? So that is an opportunity. Now we can always assist our clients in navigating that process or giving some feedback, but that is really an easy thing for a homeowner to do through any appraisal district website. The form is available. They just fill it out and they send it in, and with a copy of their driver's license, right? And it should be approved, right? So it's not something that we do on a regular basis to help our client base, but it is an avenue that is probably and should be on the radar for a lot of property owners.
What's your favorite success story?
Oh gosh, there's a lot to choose from. And this is a good one that illustrates the different valuation techniques the appraisal district can have and utilize to set a value, and also the techniques we look at when we look to set values and negotiate and create a compelling case to reduce a valuation. And so this case, this was a warehouse in the DFW area near Addison, owner-occupied warehouse. The owner, he operated a business that manufactured glass. And so this is where all their glass was manufactured. And he bought a new warehouse to expand. He paid about $900,000 for it. So this dates it maybe a little bit, because prices are much higher now. But he paid $900,000, and of course the appraisal district set the value right around $900,000 as a result. Well, once you start to look at the evidence and you dig into the data surrounding that property, lots of similar warehouses didn't go up in value to the same extent that this property owner noticed, right? And a lot of these other warehouses were around $600,000, $650,000, $700,000. And so we were able to use, instead of a market value approach on this case, which is how the appraisal district set the value at $900,000, we used an unequal appraisal approach. And we said, look, this one property is being unfairly taxed relative to his peers. He needs some relief because they should all be equal and uniform. So that's a technical aspect of the property tax code, which allows us an opportunity, even though we see all these things happening in the market, we're still able to arrive at a lower valuation through other appraisal techniques.
Wow. Well, Nick, I can see why you're so successful. Final thoughts. What would you like to leave people with?
Look, I mean, every year you're going to get your notice in the mail, and it's going to likely show an uptick in value. We recommend you fight your appeal every year, year in and year out. If you need assistance doing it, we're happy to help.
Outstanding. Great way to end the show. We're also going to leave you with Nick's website, which is texastaxprotest.com. The great Nick Olenec. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you, Jeff.
You bet. That's it for now. We'll see you next time.